on-sale chips, convenience chocolate, and even a discount Ginyu Force. Here we go with Glorio giving Pansy some praise. He must be confused about his allegiances, either that or he's still playing the role of ally so they don't suspect him. Pansy checks in with her hacker friend Pearl, who I don't believe we've seen since episode 8. Pansy requests a message to be sent to King Kadan, who I guess can't afford a plane or a radio. Kadan went to finesse a ride for himself to get into the first demon world. Assumedly we'll run into him there, and I have a hunch he'll be more of a liability than anything. I do appreciate how often he's drawn in this comic book style though. Vegeta's puzzled that Pansy's King Dad had to go steal a plane. Comparing to his own father, it must be odd since King Vegeta had the bag and they lived pretty lavishly. Until, you know, Lord Frieza came around. Meanwhile, the P in Pansy stands for poverty. Bulma haggles for some Magilite and she probably has a plan for it. I bet she has a new gadget on the brain. Elsewhere, Goma's militarizing the police, and as I thought, he's even brought in a new defense team. I heard the group word Sentai and my brain goes. From the Ginyu Force to the Gendarmerie Force. It's not as catchy, unfortunately, but it is Ginyu with guns. Unlike the Ginyu's flamboyant entrance, this one's a lot more casual. Well, till their boss comes in and sets them in line. Almost as a homage, this group does get a theatrical introduction. We have Kadem, the captain with some kind of power squat going on. Daima, he's all brooding and inquisitive. Helia, the one with the most normalish pose, while Mashims just looks uncomfortable and Gaimoy's is just as goofy as the rest. This is a quirky bunch of bros whose designs do lack on variety, varying bunny ear angles and body types ranging from muscular to toned to bulky. So they're goofy, but so are the Ginyus and we saw what they're capable of. Goma also shares in Frieza's shame. They come back in heat, and if we're gonna power scale, then the Gendarmerie Force is stronger than glass. Goma and Degasu fill them in, and I wonder what the matches will look like. We know of the crew who would fight, but would Bulma just sit in the ship and keep the seats warm? I mean, even Pansy's got her little taser. When they hear their opponents are kids, of course they get skeptical, or are offended like they're being looked down on. But really, Goma should be the one embarrassed. Unlike the Ginyus, these guys aren't bootlickers and actually call this pair out for being scared of those kids. They find it hard to believe the others are as strong as they're being told. I wonder if that comes with a hint of concern. The first time Goma's made me laugh is calling these dudes out for their cartoonish destruction. Cause that was unnecessary, but still, I want to think these guys are battle competent. Goma has been calculating in his plays so far. I'm compelled to trust his judgment, though it is hard to tell where these guys will measure since they're real in denial. Rather than plan for the occasion, they're more focused on snacks. Our crew arrives to the deactivated warp, and Neva pieces it together quick. Why did Neva switch up anyways? Of everyone, his motivations are the least clear. As they scheme, I also got a kick out of how defeatist Hebus is. He's an all-is-lost guy. Goku wants to get a better look at the light shield, and it's nice to see the power pole back in play. Turned out to be a bad play, he should have flown, although Pansy likely would have stopped him, and doing it this way gives us a taste of what just a jolt looks like from the shield. Since the pole's made of wood, it technically shouldn't conduct electricity. So is that just staticky magic? Either way, it was enough to knock Goku unconscious. Suspenseful and strange how long they take to make a move while Goku plummets to his death. Feels like Namek pacing alright. Neither Piccolo nor Vegeta intervene. Maybe it's something the latter repents for by catching Goku after Beerus. Neva utters a phrase that sounds Namekian, and with his godlike creation abilities, he may even have a new dragon in store. Even with Neva as part of the heroes team, there's something still so sinister about it. The ominous music that accompanies him, plus the sickly green and purple colors surrounding him, all adds to that. The shield fading is some of the best animation I've seen in Dragon Ball. It looks galactic like an exploding sun, feels like a dimension opening before their eyes. They're giving us mini movies. As spectacular as that display was, the crew is still lacking on challenges. Goma made a clever play and our group didn't even have to think about it. It's like Daima's so short they don't have time for conflict. Even Goku's already made a full recovery. That display did make it easy to tell Neva set these shields up. He says he did it to protect the second demon world, making his character that much more complex. He's partnered with the antagonist but is now palling around with the heroes. He feels sinister but keeps peace in place. He informs us both thugs and snooty people would come to the second middle class demon world, and things got out of line. Understandably, the peaceful and weak Namekians dip due to that. It's neat to see Piccolo have a fellow Namekian to look up to. He's become the Dende that looked up to him. So with the rock cubed, the group's on their way to the first demon world, where more pants are about to get soaked. Looks like Degasu's senses are better than Goma's. Although, even if it's not a high bar, as a Majin, Goma's probably more powerful than a Supreme Kai like Degasu. Kais are also mostly peaceful, which explains why Degasu's so submissive. Beta-like even. Well, those potato chips became plot relevant. Initially, I thought this would be a throwaway scene, but it was a clever way to get the military to run into Aranzu's cronies. It's arguably the highlight of the episode. We know Ku knows where the 7-Elevens are because of his chocolate runs. I'd say Do has better taste than these guys though. Boastful as they are, I'd enjoy seeing their reaction to Do's win against the Tamagami. They call the Super Majin Bros kids like it's an insult, but they do listen to their elders as instructed. Wholesome to watch this squad be mentors, even if they're broke. Yeah! The reaction to the prize had me rolling. Inflation's even hit the demon world. Their little moral takeaway at the end does make Daima feel childish in the way some have complained about, but it's cute, so whatever. With those keen Kai senses, Aranzu feels the disturbance as well. This should be good news as the Dragon Balls are plummeting towards her. I was sort of shocked to look it up and see the first demon world's temperature converted is 140 degrees Fahrenheit. That would kill a person in about 10 minutes, so really, really hot. Hotter than the image of Hebus carrying Bulma to safety until Vegeta steps in. Jokes aside, it's a sweet image, a prince turned knight. Bulma poses my same question of who will fight, and since Hebus taps out, he's got to carry a ball. Glorio's eager to take one too, but has yet to seize the opportunity to betray them. It would be tough with everyone gathered together. Hebus is passive enough to probably just give the ball if Glorio demanded it. Goma's nightmare is now descending on him, so consequently he orders a strike, but he doesn't seem confident, he seems desperate, even though he's got a whole army at his command. With that, the climax of Daima is approaching. Time to celebrate because I think that was the last plane gag. This episode introduces us to some new antagonists. The parallels to the Ginyu Force are evident, but they feel like a convenience store version. The Ginyu Force had distinct personalities while this group sort of shares one brain cell. It's an unfortunate drawback because it makes them feel flatter in comparison. That said, they definitely have their moments. They might even fight against Ku and Do eventually. We also get some plot progression as the crew finally arrives in the first demon world. Though seeing as Daima has had a lack of stakes, they'll probably breeze their way through until they reach the Majins. I could see the Gendarmerie fight being a two-parter, but the group likely won't really struggle or actually lose until Ku or Do. Things do seem to ramp up next week, but this episode, I give a 7 out of 10.